Hey everybody, welcome back to the next episode of the Balanced Vibes podcast. My name is Kirsten and thank you so much for being here today. Today's episode is going to be a little bit more macro focused and for good reason. The reason is that I am opening up a brand new 5-day starting macros class for those of you who are macro curious but maybe have not tried them out yet. Maybe you want to know what exactly are macros, how exactly they work, why does it matter, why would I count them, what can they help me accomplish. And maybe you have even seen other people having great success tracking macros, but you've been a little intimidated, maybe a little bit scared, don't know what to think of them, maybe it sounds like too much work, and you don't even know maybe where to find these macros and what they can do for you. So if this is you, then starting macros is exactly the class that you want to attend. And over the course of 5 days, we are discussing the foundation of macro nutrition. You're going to learn where to find each macronutrient and why it matters. You're also going to learn about food tracking, using a food tracking app, why it matters, what you can find, what to pay attention to, also how to read nutrition labels so that you can make better choices based on your goals. So these are all the things that we are learning in 5 days. I know it's a short amount of time. It's going to be pretty intense, but nothing is going to be so much that you cannot do it. The homeworks are going to be short but doable and very, very, very practical. So if you are interested in starting macros, make sure that you join. The link is in my Instagram bio, the link is in my YouTube, the link is also in the show notes of this episode. And we're getting started on January 26th. However, enrollment closes on January 25th. And this program is completely free. So there's literally no risk there. If you don't like it, you're just not going to do anything about it. You're just going to learn about macronutrition. If you like it, it can be a great starting point for you to really hone into your nutrition and see what you can do, where can you improve, and really open your eyes to some of the blind spots that you may be having, some of the reasons why you may not be getting the results that you want to be getting. Maybe you are working out at the gym all the time really, really hard and feel like I have earned to see results, but I'm not seeing them. Or maybe you've been tracking calories, but not macros, but calorie tracking hasn't gotten you anywhere. So if this is the case, then this program is going to be the great fit for you. So make sure that you sign up. The link is literally everywhere, or you can find me on social media. And we get started January 26th and we're closing the enrollment on January 25th. There's not too many days left, so make sure that you sign up, and as soon as you have done so, I will send you a welcome email with a couple of things that you need to know. But all in all, it's not going to be anything too complicated. You're not going to need tons of things. You don't need to know much. You can be totally new to macronutrition, and I'm so excited to do this with you because I know one day I was, back in the day I was new to macros too, and I didn't know what it was and how they work and all that kind of stuff. So I really want to help you out with that. So let's talk today a little bit more about macros versus calories. So one of the questions that I've gotten recently is that, okay, why are you talking about macros so much? Because doesn't it matter aren't calories more important for weight loss? Isn't it true that we have to be in a caloric deficit in order to lose weight? And yeah, this is true. In order to lose weight, we have to be in caloric deficit unless we have been in a caloric deficit so long that our metabolism starts fighting, and no matter how little we eat, we're not losing weight. So in this case, we need to do reverse dieting. So it's kind of like a very severe metabolic adaptation already. But in general, if there's somebody who has been eating on their maintenance level or a little bit higher than that, and now they cut their calories and start eating less, then usually weight loss follows. So why would you then track macros if you can lose weight by just tracking your calories? Well, calorie tracking is great for weight loss, but macro tracking is way better way to change your body composition. And a lot of times people don't know that they actually don't want weight loss necessarily. What they actually want is they want to look better and feel better. And they want their bodies to look different, right? Isn't that true? So would you care? Maybe you would, I don't know. But for example, if I weighs 5 pounds more and looks leaner, I would take that over weighing less. But a lot of people don't think that way. They're just really, really focused on the scale, and that's why they focus only on calorie deficit. So now if we really want to change the body composition, we want to look stronger, look leaner, and not only that, we also want to improve our workout performance, because I am assuming that most people who are here listening to this podcast also exercise regularly, want to get stronger. Then we really highly benefit from macronutrition and knowing how many carbohydrates, fats, and proteins to eat. And protein, as you know, is one of the key macros, really, or is the key macro if we want to change our body composition. So another question that I've been getting is that what is the most important macro? And honestly, there's no such thing. All three matter. And that's why I'm not a fan when people say that, oh, it's okay to be like super low carb so that you eat like 25 grams of carbs a day. That's basically nothing. Or, some people severely cut their fat intake, and that was me too. So I'm not a fan of like cutting one macronutrient super low, because they're all important. But if we're talking about the specific goal, which is for most people, losing weight, getting stronger, looking leaner, feeling more focused, having better energy, then protein is that macronutrient that we have to pay attention to get enough of that. Now, how much of protein should we get? Most people probably already know, if you've been listening for a while, you know that the general recommendation is 0.6 to 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of your body weight, and it varies a little bit. Some people can easily eat 1 gram per 1 pound of their body weight, and others don't feel that comfortable with that. We also don't have to eat much more than that. There's not too many benefits. So you don't have to overeat that either. Not that it's like terribly bad or something bad will happen, but it's just not going to get any big benefits out of it. I mean, if you have some kidney issues, then you may have to be a little bit more careful. But if you're generally a healthy person, then 1 gram per pound of body weight is not a problem for most. Just the general range would be 0.6 to 1 grams of protein per 1 pound of body weight. So this is really the game changer, and has been for so many of my clients. And when I work with clients, this is where I usually start. Start with protein, and we set the calorie number, because yes, like I mentioned earlier, calorie deficit is important if somebody has a fat loss or weight loss goal, but at the same time we have to keep the protein high, because that's gonna mean that when we lose weight, we don't lose it so much from the muscle, because we want to maintain the muscle mass and ideally even increase the muscle mass. What helps with that is high protein and is heavy lifting, as you probably already know. So protein in that sense is really the key macronutrient, and in the Starting Macros program we also focus a little bit more on that, because this is something that's the hardest to do. We're usually not struggling with hitting our carbohydrate numbers, or we're not struggling with getting enough fat into our diet. There are of course some exceptions, but usually protein is the highest. And also, with most of my new clients, not everybody, but with most of my new clients, they struggle with it a lot, and they really ask me, you want me to eat how much protein? Are you serious? And I'm like, yes, we have to get the protein higher to achieve the goals that you have. So macronutrition can be really, really helpful in achieving the goals that we have. And that brings me to the next topic. So what are the goals with macro tracking and tracking in general? And sometimes I see that people say that it's all just so obsessive, and nobody should ever do this. And I disagree with that a lot, because learning about macros and knowing about nutrition does not have to be an obsessive journey. It can be very, very helpful. It can help us in so many ways. And a lot of my clients experience things like better focus and less brain fog, and ability to lift heavier weights and feeling fitter and feeling stronger, even better skin. And what I see honestly a lot, the menstrual cycles get a lot better when we get right macro, let's say, ratios. Again, a lot of people, maybe they are over consuming carbohydrates, and I'm not saying over consuming like you shouldn't have any carbohydrates, but that's just the ratios are a little bit off. They're not getting enough protein. Some people are not getting enough fat. So I've seen a lot of times how women's menstrual cycles have gotten so much more normal after we have implemented macronutrition. And at the end of the day, the goal is not to make you obsessed. The goal is not to tell you that you know, if I told you to eat 70 grams of fat, now you have 73, something terrible happened and you can't achieve your goals and you fell off the wagon and you have to do it again and you have to beat yourself up and you have to go run it off. No, none of this is the goal. The goal is to learn and to see what it takes to reach your goals and what are some of the ways to do it, and also explore what foods fit into your nutrition plan, or what foods make you feel good, and how we can use certain macros to find our way to our goals. So these are a couple of things that I wanted to discuss today, and one more is how to kind of start tracking if you have been really terrified of numbers. So a lot of times what I see with people is, especially those who have had very disordered eating behaviors in the past, they are scared. They're scared that, oh my goodness, if I start tracking something again, then I'm gonna be super obsessed again, and my eating disorder will come back and I just cannot do this anymore. And of course, I don't want anyone to ever experience eating disorder again. If you ever had it, or I know how bad it is. I didn't have a diagnosed eating disorder, but I definitely had it. I mean, if I could go back and self-diagnose it now, I know that I definitely had it. But I don't have it anymore, and I don't have any signs of eating disorder anymore. And I can promise you that it's completely possible to do tracking and to learn about nutrition, what your body needs, how to feel it, without falling back to eating disorder behaviors. But you have to be ready for it, and you have to have done the mindset work so that you understand why you are doing this, what are the goals, and you also understand your value as a human being, so that you don't get super obsessed if you don't hit your numbers super accurately. And just literally right now, I got off the call with one of my newest client who's doing my 4-week program, which is kind of like introduction to macros. And she told me that she's so surprised how easy it is to do, because she was also scared that she would go back to old habits. She, by the way, had in the past, there was a year when she ate almost the entire year 800 calories a day, and she said, I don't feel like my eating disorder coming back at all, because this time I am not restricting the way I did before. And with her, honestly, what we did, we just did a very slight calorie reduction from her 5-day averages, and saw where she was, and we got the macros right. And she's feeling great. And she's like, I'm so surprised how doable this is. And it really is, because her mindset is right. Because her mindset is not where, I have to do this, I hate it so much, I cannot, eat anything, or I have to starve myself, I have to exercise more to burn it off. She doesn't have any of that mindset. If you still do, then tracking is not right for you, and you have to work with eating disorder specialist, an expert who can help you with that. This is not a good place for you, because you clearly don't appreciate your body and what you can do, and you don't see food as fuel and nutrition. So definitely work with somebody who can help you with that. But if you are on the other side of it, and I do have a couple of clients who are on the other side of it, who used to have hypothalamic amenorrhea, who used to have eating disorders, and they don't have them anymore. And they're able to use macronutrition as a tool for them to feel better, get stronger, get leaner. Because remember, this is not a bad goal to have. You are allowed to have this goal after your body has been fully restored and recovered, metabolically healthy. I will never take anybody to a big calorie deficit, or maybe even not at all a calorie deficit, if they've had only a couple of months after recovery. No, I will definitely not do it. And this is one of the biggest mistakes I see women make. They just jump right back into deficit after having getting their period back for 2-3 months. They're like, all right, I'm gonna do it, or even sooner. And this is definitely not doable. I never ever recommend that. So sometimes all it takes is just kind of moving the macros around and getting the protein higher, getting the fat into a right place, and everything will fall into where it needs to be. So this is all I have for you. A little bit of chat, talking about macros, talking about calories versus macros. what you can accomplish with tracking one or the other. So remember, weight loss purposes, yeah, you need to be in a calorie deficit, but if you want to see body composition change, then knowing and getting your macros right is really, really critical. Otherwise, you may just be in a really, really low calories and just burn off not only your fat, but also your muscle. And this is the last thing you want to do. You want to preserve muscle, okay? And the other thing is your mindset going into tracking, going into anything new. What are your expectations? What do you want to do? Do you have like this big sense of urgency? I have to do this because I hate myself so much? Or can you be more curious and be like, let's see what I can do. Let's see what I can accomplish, by taking this workshop or whatever. Let's see what I can learn, how I can use this information to use this to change my body in a healthy way. So don't forget that Starting Macros starts January 26th, but the enrollment closes the day before, so January 25th. If you are interested, if you've never learned about macros, but you are curious about them, then make sure to sign up. The link is everywhere. You can find me on social media. Thanks so much for being here today. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.